Big D Entertainment, in association with Dipsy Doodle Productions, presents The Dave Holly Hour, brought to you by Trio Jazz Club, Sioux Falls' premier jazz club. Enter as friends, leave as family. Serendipity Studio Gallery and Gifts, Chasers Food and Spirits, Excel Chiropractic, Quality Nails, and the Sioux Falls Arts Council. The Dave Holly Hour features Sioux Empire Arts and Entertainment Conversations. A true lover of arts, entertainment, good food, and fun times, including an occasional Jack Daniels. Okay, so a few Jack Daniels. Here he is, Dave Holly.
Happy Valentine's weekend eve. Take that Valentine of yours out for a night on the town. There is plenty to choose from, which leads us right into today's conversations. In a few minutes, we sit down with Jesse Jensen. He's directing Love Letters Friday and Saturday. And we even get around to talking about our mutually beloved Chicago Cubs. Then, they are Valentines. Comics Sara Manson and Adam Goodge have a show in Sioux Falls Friday night and in Brookings Saturday night. The Sweethearts will even be doing some comedy as a couple.
Time to grab your favorite beverage, lift it high, and toast it to being Thursday, a.k.a. Weekend Eve.
Hey, the weekend isn't around the corner, it's here!
So long, hump day and your frumpy way. We say hello to Thursdays with opening nights. The weekend is near and we can see the bright lights. Yes, Thursday, you're so hearty, we can't wait for Friday, so a day early, we start the party.
Whatever you're drinking and whatever you're drinking out of might very well be determined by where and when you're listening. Now, my choice, as per usual, is a Jasper Newton. For those of you who want to wear, that was Jack Daniels' real name, Jasper Newton Daniel. So it's Jack Daniels Diet Coke with the lime, preferably double tall. Now, for you, could be a cup of coffee you're sipping on, a spot of tea, maybe a glass of milk, bottle of water, mug of beer, a cocktail, or a flute of champagne. Lift it high and toast to value. Years ago, I worked in retail at a men's clothing shop. Now, there was a clothing line rep that had a poster in his office that said, price, quality, selection. Choose two. Think about that for a moment. The two you choose might very well represent your values. What do you value in your friendships, your career, your activities? Name it. What are your values? Regardless, cheers to you, values. The Weekend Eve Toast is brought to you by Chasers West 12th Street and Ellis Road. Chasers has great food and beverages, and on Monday nights at 7, we play Dave Holly Hour Trivia. This coming Monday, February 17th, join us for Love Trivia Take 2. We had to cancel last weekend due to Mother Nature, so Love Trivia Take 2 promises to be heartfelt, even if belated. Honorable mention. What over the past week made Dave laugh, guffaw, chuckle, chortle, giggle, simply smile, or maybe even shed a tear of joy? The Good Night Theater Collective once again. The 25th annual Putnam County Spelling Bee was hilarious and uplifting. Now, GNTC has been an honorable mention several times on this show, for good reason. They're good. Next year will be their 10th season. You get longevity by earning it. Amazing casts, amazing music, and a proven track record. Later in the show, we talk with comics Sara Manson and Adam Goodge. In just a few minutes, Love Letters director Jesse Jensen on the Dave Holly Hour. Trio Jazz Club is an intimate music venue in the heart of Sioux Falls. It's family-owned and family-run. Ricardo and Mary Beth and the entire staff provide the art of hospitality, while the best local and regional musicians provide the smooth sounds. It's a great vibe with live music Tuesday through Saturday nights. The chefs and mixologists offer an amazing menu and beer and wine lists. Cocktails as smooth as the jazz. Join the club, Trio Jazz Club, across from the Washington Pavilion. Enter as friends, leave as family.
Valentine's Day weekend will be extra special for you and your special someone when you see Love Letters by A.R. Gurney. Theater Lab and Big D Entertainment bring this great story to you at the Icon in downtown Sioux Falls, February 14th and 15th. Follow the lives of Andy and Melissa through the decades of letters they've written each other. Dinner theater, including great food from Dada Gastropub, starts at 6 Friday and Saturday night. Friday night has a show-only option at 9. Tickets are available through the Theater Lab, Big D Entertainment, and Icon Event Hall Facebook pages.
50 Shades of Red, from bold crimson to delicate blush. Experience its symbolism, energy, and emotion through March 1st at Serendipity Studio Gallery and Gift Shop. By the way, speaking of Serendipity, don't forget the Atrium Makers Market every Saturday from 10 to 4. It's free. The creativity is endless. Serendipity Studio in the historic Shriver Square building, downtown Sioux Falls.
Support the Dave Holly Hour in a very easy way. Buy Dave a cup of coffee by clicking the cup at davehollyhour.com.
Welcome back, everyone. It is always a pleasure to talk Sioux Empire Arts and Entertainment, and I get to talk to one of my favorite people, and I get to talk about me as well. Jesse Jensen, how are you?
Hi, great. Thanks for having me back. Returning contestant,
Yeah, very true. And I have you in here to talk about something that I happen to be involved with quite a bit. It's Love Letters, which is going to be performed at Icon in that little annex room. If you've ever gone to an improv show and of late a Vaughty's show, they're in there. And so if you're going to get tickets yet, because you haven't, shame on you, then you will find us Friday night and Saturday night. Friday night, there is going to be a dinner and theater, 6 o'clock if you want the dinner. If you just want to go to the show, 7 o'clock. And then 9 o'clock is a show only. And then Saturday, 6 o'clock dinner plus the show only, 7 o'clock. So you can do that, and you can go online, take a look at the Facebook pages of myself, Nancy Tapkin, Theater Lab, and Big D Entertainment, and you will find the way to get your tickets. Otherwise, show up at the door. We'll take you. But I'm one of the two people in the cast, along with Nancy, and we decided, well, it's one of those you really don't have to do a lot of practice with. You don't need to rehearse that often because you get to read the whole thing.
Yeah.
And so that's beautiful. And then she says, well, we should probably at least have somebody guide us a little bit. And she says, Jesse Jensen. I said, oh, yeah, that's awesome. And so then you hop on board. And I'm going to give you a couple of things I have to say first, and then we'll talk about the show. I told you this at rehearsal the other day, that after we had our first rehearsal a month back, just to go through it. And then we knew it would just be a short rehearsal cycle, a week to 2 weeks before the show. And so the first time I actually got to sit down and have you go through notes and so forth, it was like, wow, this is so great. And then I get out, Carrie comes to pick me up. She always asks, okay, so what'd you learn? What do you do? I said, I know why everybody always says they want to work with Jesse Jensen.
That's kind of you.
Well, it's very kind of you, what you did, because we're only paying you $1 or $2. No, and because the first time that we met, you said, really not going to need to direct because there's no blocking to this much. We have a few little things we do, but, and you said, I guess I'm just going to be more like an acting coach to the two of you. Well, you have taken acting coach to the nth degree.
Thanks.
Yeah. It's amazing the insight that you have when you comb through a play. And so how many times did you read this between that first meeting we had and then this first true rehearsal?
Right. So I don't think I got the script until, about a week before we were going to do that read-through back in January. and typically I like to have the whole director's presentation. Usually I've been working on something for a couple months before I get to that read through. And then I like to go through my conceptual stuff with the cast, because I would, in a bigger, in a show that required a set design, costumes, lighting design, so on and so forth, which this really doesn't. I would have usually probably already had a production meeting and prepared for that, right? But honestly, this was refreshing to not have all of that, because I had a very busy year last year.
Yes,
It was I directed 3 shows.
Wow.
One at Corson, one for Theater Lab, Nancy's new company, which is the co-production with
Big D Entertainment,
Big D.
yes.
And then A Christmas Carol, which was just
talk
kept
about
jumping
having
in
2
scale. Every show kept jumping in scale.
How many did you have in that?
I think
total cast?
I think cast was around 38. Deck crew was probably around 10. Of course, you have a designer on every department, so probably closer to 60 people involved in total. Yeah,
amazing. And now there's 3 of us.
Yeah, and now there's just 3 of us. And every type of show has its advantages, right? But an intimate show like this, where it's going to be a smaller room, we don't need to use microphones.
Right. Don't have to have big lights set up.
Right. We really challenge the audience to suspend their disbelief, and it's almost like reading a novel with this book.
Very true.
Or excuse me, with this play, because it was originally written not to be a performed play.
That's right.
But a play. Gurney, the playwright, had submitted it to the New Yorker as a magazine piece, but in play form, and he said. He got rejected because the New Yorker said, "We do not publish plays. Quit sending us plays." Approaching this, I originally told you I won't have to do much directing, and by that I mean, all of those other things: speaking, lighting design language, speaking sound, subtle languages you have to learn to speak. Speaking. Musician language and so on and so forth. What I meant by that was helping you with the beats, because that's the biggest challenge. There's big chunks of text, right? And how do we take those big chunks of text and, as I've spoken ad nauseum on one of the other podcasts I was on, break them down into beats. There's no French scenes with this show because you're both on stage the whole time. So it's just, we have one act, we have the first act, we have the second act, and it's blocks of text, and it just makes it easier when you have someone kind of looking at it for you as an actor, like where we can break those down into smaller sections, and makes it more easier to consume, I think, as an actor.
Yeah, and you've done such a fine job with that. Wow. And it's heartfelt.
Yeah.
When you go into something, you've heard about somebody being a director that you want to work with, and find out why, and just learn so much. But you have such insights into things that, you read the play, if you're going to be, one of the 2 people in it, and you're going through it, and you're realizing some different themes, you're picking up on a few things. And I think one of the funniest things that you came up with, how many Christmases passed during this?
Well, with it being a show where 2 actors are sitting there, right? We have more of a responsibility to tell the story just with our voice and the text. And time passing is a very important convention of this piece. So I just wanted to make sure I highlighted, when we mention her birthdays, we know that that's April because we established that early. So the audience should be able to come along with us, because this... it's about 40, 50 years that pass. Yeah. And so for those of you who don't know, this is a show about 2 people are sitting down to read their letters, their corresponding letters to one another. And, the show is called Love Letters. So of course, some of them are love letters, right? Some of them are just the annual Christmas letter that we all hate getting. So there's some comedy with that. And, part of the passage of time is understanding the audience. Understanding the passage of time is necessary to get that feeling of nostalgia. The other day we talked about, once you get into the second act, you get a real feel for that. These two are remembering the last time they were really happy, which was much younger. Yeah.
The playwright has some specifics in terms of the presentation of this show. And the one that I am going to find the hardest after going through the ending the other day is where it says, "Do not cry,"
right?
Especially Andy at the end.
Right. What story about love doesn't have some crying?
Wow. And so I'm getting there.
Love leads to all sorts of things and several forms of tears.
And not just several forms, but the love itself, it'll take on, are you saying I love you? Are you saying love you?
Yeah.
Much love, what? Because it's something I've always thought of when it comes to physical looks versus beauty.
Right.
There's so many words, as to how someone could be attractive. And they all kind of have a different connotation. But when you talk about something being beautiful, it's this all-encompassing. And I think that is what I love about love letters, is it's all-encompassing about love.
And it spans an entire love affair over an entire lifetime.
Yeah.
Going back to if you just imagine if you would have stayed in touch, not in the
modern,
contemporary form of staying in touch, just being passive friends on Facebook. But imagine if you corresponded with your that first crush you had from first grade, second grade, third grade, and just kept that correspondence up through towards the end of your life.
Yeah, basically retirement,
and then
so forth.
What that Nancy has, when early on she talked, we were talking about the show. She's like, I have some problems with how dated the language feels, and I completely empathize with her. Then looking through it with my play analysis, I'm like, well, it really kind of captured. These letters are a form of journalism. They capture the attitudes of the time, the language they spoke at the time, right? And as they continue, they start out as second graders, and how did second graders speak at that time? When they talk about the way their parents talked, parents of pre-Korean War, who were probably, World War II veterans themselves, how did they speak and raise children and so on and so forth?
Well, and it's also reflective of how when you get past that and the roles reversed, now suddenly you're the parent and you're trying to figure out what these kids mean by saying whatever, things
you get to capture you being a kid and then capture you raising kids. And then looking back on that at the end of life is kind of incredible. And then I also just love that this, you can read the title in a couple ways, right?
True.
It's about these love letters, right? The noun. But especially your character
very much
loves writing letters.
Yeah.
So it's about the
writing
love.
Anything.
It's about the love of letters, about the love of the written language, and where the written language has its advantages, and in the character Nancy plays, its disadvantages.
And there's some great similarities between the two in terms of their backgrounds, but one's just a little uppity more.
Yeah.
But yet the one that had the lesser is the one that wants to be forthright and so forth. And I'm kind of a stuffy SOB.
Yeah.
Through quite a bit of it, and a bit of a prick.
You're both, Gurney, a lot of his playwriting concerns the lives of, white Anglo-Saxon Protestants, right? So WASPs, wealthy WASPs, particularly in the Northeast. And he really zeroes in on the theme of, how does this play relate to our times now? There's a lot of discussion about privilege. Both of you are privileged people, and there's a theme about what is the responsibility of the privileged, and that's part of the discussion constantly on social media or in media in particular, legacy media. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm Andrew Makepeace Ladd the Third.
Make peace, isn't
Isn't that everything is so cool in that respect? And Melissa is
Hi,
a
Charlie.
little. Yeah, Charlie's made his appearance now on the show. You took a little while, kid. That was 14 minutes in.
Yeah,
You're getting behind now.
enjoying the conversation and getting bored now?
And she is the one that's actually richer.
Yeah.
But flaunts and carefree in many ways.
Yeah.
Whereas Andy's more, this is how the day's going to go. This is how the world's going to go throughout my lifetime.
Right.
So it's funny because, he's got the stuffier name then
Yeah.
of being the third.
Yeah.
Yeah. And of course, then, he has children. And they both get married
Right.
and have children. And so all of those different things that you think of that can compile into love affairs, especially a lifelong one
Right.
from second grade, is just incredible. Those of you that have experienced it or are experiencing it, you will laugh. You will cry because I'm not allowed to. But your emotion's going to run the gamut throughout the whole thing. But it is, because you see a serious show like this that has a variety of themes through it. But it's also quite humorous.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's a lot of great laugh moments in this. And so you will get a great night of entertainment regardless. So we hope you all come out and join us again Friday night. If you're going to do dinner and the show, get there by 6 because that's when the dinner is going to be served. If you're just doing the show, get there a little bit before 7 because that's when the show starts. And then Saturday night, same thing for the 6 and 7. But then Friday night, there's also a 9 o'clock show only. And that'll be a very quick turnaround for us.
Yeah, that'll be Love Letters After Dark.
Yes.
9 o'clock show.
Don't worry. It'll still be the same show. Not going to be an uncensored thing or anything. So when Nancy approached you about this, what was your immediate thought?
Well, she said Dave and Nancy wanted to do a show, and I was like, well, that would be awesome. I would love to work with Dave and Nancy.
Oh, okay.
Because, we've known each other for years now, but never have actually been able to work together in any sort of capacity other than
being on the show here and talking about everything.
Yeah, chatting.
Yeah.
So.
And so now how would you describe your directing? Because like we said, you don't have all the other aspects of it this time, but your actual directing of characters in this versus all the other things you've done.
Well, there's challenges in just working with text because the convention is that these are two people sitting and reading these letters. Whereas there are opportunities in a show that is more active. I can express things in what I call the negative space, what's, not being said with physicality. I can make a lights joke. I can, or just have them, there's I always say, I like to say, and people have heard me say this a lot, that limitations beget creativity, right? So I'm thinking, okay, I don't have all these tools at my disposal. I'm not going to have a lighting design. I'm not going to have truly a costume design, a sound design that I can kind of monkey with. And we don't have movement. So it's kind of refreshing to just sit down and really, it's for me, it's directing with play analysis, finding all the little nuances, finding all the quick beat changes. And then it kind of, you really got to see, my script all marked up. It's, how important that is to be prepared for those rehearsals with the actors. That I like to have a feeling of what I'd like to see, but then I encourage you and Nancy to play with making choices, or if I see a choice stop you and say, "Oh, I like that choice, but I like what you saw there. Can I tweak it a little bit?"
Right.
And it's a nice little casual rehearsal where we're just really having conversation. And I really think, you talked about how it hit you the other night when we got to the end, and part of that was through the analysis that you two and I were having with this. I had already done the analysis, but we were having a conversation about these two people's lives,
Right.
and we're getting to know them more intimately. And then as we went into it, it was like, oh, I really understand these two characters. And then you really feel it.
Well, see, what's interesting for me is, and maybe it's my age now too.
Yeah.
Because I have played this role
Right.
prior, about 30 years ago.
Yeah.
And we did not get a lot of direction the way that you have been directing. It was just more so we'd, practice and make sure that we got right pronunciations of different things, but not really getting into so much in terms of the analysis of each of the characters. And the thing that I loved that you said we really needed to do was so much of it, when there's long pieces, it's a letter and a response to a letter. But when it gets to be these short
Back and forths.
And boom, 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 you said we got to pick it up. And this is where passages of time are happening. This is where, and it all made so much sense. And it's like, okay, well, this is going to be an awesome event for everybody.
Right.
That they
And then
attend.
you get to find, when you got a playwright writing in this form, you got to find that playwright's rhythm.
Mhm.
Everyone especially someone who loves writing as much as the playwright talks about, there's going to be a natural rhythm to his prose. And, I think the way we've been working through it, just experimenting with, let's take this a little, let's pick up the pace. No, let's slow it down here. And then just, it started off real herky jerky.
Mhm.
And then as through the rehearsal went, it was, okay, we're getting into rhythm. We're getting into a rhythm now. We
have found it.
Yeah.
All right. So you said a busy year last year. Let's go through that.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, yeah. What all did you have?
Well, title of show, right? Out at Mighty Course and Arts Players. Really fun, meta show. Them really my jam. Small cast, lots of jokes about theater, itself. Other Desert Cities, which is, family, dramedy, comedy.
That was
comedy
awesome.
drama. Yeah. So, really enjoyed exploring that. Worked in a different fashion where the actors all studied the lines throughout the summer and came in pretty much off book. So we really got to dig into it in a short rehearsal period, which was super fun. And then, A Christmas Carol, which is an institutional show here in Sioux Falls at the Premier Playhouse. So,
well, the one that impressed me was Other Desert Cities, because it's like I told people afterward. I said, because a lot of people are aware that Aaron Sharp's a very great actor in so many different styles of roles, but he's also very comedic in many of his roles. And this one didn't call for that.
You're right.
And at the end, when he's crying, it's like, damn, that's not acting.
Aaron,
he is that man.
Aaron's one of those who just throws himself into it.
Yeah.
Aaron, this is that was the second time I worked with Aaron. We did Lombardi together. Nancy was also in Lombardi.
That's right. Yeah.
And, and then when it comes to Nancy, our first show was God of Carnage at the Playhouse back when it was Sioux Empire Community Theater, in the Zabel studio.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
I may have been in the last show that they've actually performed
at
the Zabel, which was, I played Black Stash and Peter and the Starcatcher.
Uh-huh.
There might have been a one or two after that. I can't remember, but it's pretty much become a rehearsal space. But the joke between Nancy and myself has always been, we've done God of Carnage together, Lombardi, Other Desert Cities, and all three of them have had a bar in the living room, which is a primary focus of the scene work. So we've decided we're just going to do bar shows for family drama bar shows.
I'll maybe have a Tumblr or something.
And then I kind of, speaking of the Zabel, and having branched out from the proscenium of the Playhouse, and it was really nice working on Corson's very
Another intimate,
quirky, intimate space, which was I just really loved working on.
You didn't go down to the green room and the dressing room so often, did you?
Oh, I did.
Did you come up on stage right then?
Oh, I did.
How many times you hit your head?
Oh man, you warned me, so
Yes.
I would military crawl up the stairs. I got to enjoy the Limerick tradition. And that was
that's
really
awesome, isn't
great.
it?
Yeah. And then when we did other Desert Cities, we did that in the Schulte room.
Yeah.
And played that as a black box. So it's really kind of gotten me back more to my roots. So the black box shows are more my I just feel there's
a lot of college that comes back.
And there's more opportunities in creating a visually different show that audiences aren't always used to when it comes to proscenium. Not that I have any problems with the proscenium. I do love the proscenium, except the microphones, but but the Zabel, I wish we could do a show on the Zabel again. That would be great. I missed that.
All right. Well, we'll see if we can make that happen then. Anything coming up after this?
Not on my so my wife has been upset with me because we had plans to travel last winter. This winter
actually.
Except for, but when I accepted Christmas Carol, we had to cancel. She had a conference in Buenos Aires, so we were supposed to be there, and then she had another one in Puerto Rico. So we're going to travel this spring. So we're going.
Good for you.
We're going to Puerto Rico, and we moved that trip to April, and then my son is graduating from Lincoln High School.
Right. And headed off to the School of Mines.
A couple of years ago, I got to that moment in life where your son is smarter than you. He has AP chemistry done. He's got more science than I ever took in college already, and he's coming in as technically credited as a sophomore. And so he's going to go off to School of Mines and study mechanical engineering with an aerospace minor. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Since you've been on a number of times, there's usually a different question at the end. So let's just come up with one right now. What is your favorite classic movie?
Oh, my favorite classic movie.
One of those that if it showed up at the state, you'd have to go see. It wasn't until I was old. David Lynch just passed just recently. Yeah.
and I don't know if you can call The Elephant Man a classic.
I would.
But I just remember seeing that movie it was the one that really got me into cinema at a younger age. I was probably more into cinema early on as a kid, and then just discovered theater. I was like, oh, this is kind of similar. So I just kept going into that. I loved cinema, but I was probably 7 or 8, and I saw The Elephant Man on TBS or something as a replay of how they released those films back when people got access to classic films. I think it's harder to see classic films now because people don't have linear cable that are just where it's a passive watch, oh, what's this? And I sit down and I discover I like this. The algorithm picks you now, right? But I saw Elephant Man was 7 or 8, and I was like, man, that's a great old movie. That's a great classic movie. And then I was probably in my 20s when I realized, oh my gosh, that film came out in 1980.
Yeah.
So David Lynch had filmed it with that language of that time period, kind of like what Mel Brooks did with Young Frankenstein, right?
Yeah.
And so that's definitely one of them. I do love Pride of the Yankees.
That's a great show.
Love Pride of the Yankees. And many old. I don't know if you consider Stand By Me a classic, but I love.
See, that's getting along at that same age there.
Stand By Me. Even The Wizard of Oz. I grew up, The Wizard of Oz used to mark the year for me. Wizard of Oz, and then a couple weeks later it'll be Rudolph, the Red-Nosed Reindeer, and then a couple weeks later it'll be Christmas.
Yeah.
That's how you used to mark the fall.
Yeah. It'll end up being It's a Wonderful Life.
Yeah. So Wicked really hit for me because that Wizard of Oz was like a big part of my childhood.
I enjoyed that so much more than I thought I would.
Yeah, well, I saw it with Anna Gasteyer playing Elphaba in Chicago, like 2004-ish, 5.
She was just on the Today Show this week and talked about that.
Yeah.
And people forget about, her.
She can sing, man.
Wow.
She can sing. I mean, she isn't quite Cynthia, but she is singing. So, I saw, like I said, and then my wife and I, my two youngest wanted to go. My oldest couldn't go. So we went to it twice in the theater and just floored.
Yeah.
It really hit that. Boy, it really hit when I got to Gravity.
Well, the great thing about having your own podcast, you can keep going however long you want. So I'm going to keep you here for a few more minutes.
Oh, right. We're in extra time. We're in overtime.
You brought up damn Yankees.
Yeah.
And you and I are both Chicago Cubs fans. And we also like baseball in general. And, love baseball in general. But let's talk baseball movies. Okay, so Pride of the Yankees is up there as one of your best classics. Is it up there as one of your, or the best baseball movie?
Oh, the best baseball movie? The best baseball movie. If you want to say comedy, I'm going Major League. Because I still quote Major League all the time. But
Thank you, I do it myself.
Yeah, and I know it's kind of, and I do love Field of Dreams.
Yeah.
But I used to do a baseball podcast and I used to blog baseball. And people will give me a hard time as just being sentimental. But I love The Natural.
Me too.
It's just, I love baseball is just, lends itself to a certain romanticism that.
And did you see Moneyball then?
I love I read Moneyball when it came out, and still
Billy Beans, when he's taking a look at that, where their AAA guy that was the catcher, very heavy.
Yeah.
Trips going around first because he's going to try for second.
Yeah.
And didn't realize he'd hit a home run. Yeah. And then Billy Beans goes, it's hard not to be romantic about baseball.
Yeah.
But there's one of the shows that I absolutely love, doesn't get talked about much, For Love of the Game.
The Game with Kevin Costner.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it has one of my favorite lines out of that is Vin Scully.
I love Vin Scully.
Yeah. And for those that aren't aware of the game, in terms of
because he's
this
calling,
particular, he's
a character in
he's a character in this, and Kevin Costner ends up pitching a perfect game, and his last name is Chapel, and it's at Yankee Stadium, and here's Vin's call. In the cathedral that is Yankee Stadium, today it's a chapel.
Great line.
Awesome. He could paint a picture better than anybody.
I'm a Cubs fan.
Yeah.
But when I got MLB TV after I was an early cord cutter, part of the advantage was I could hear Vin's calls.
That's right.
With the Dodgers.
Yep.
And they always played late at night.
Yeah.
So oftentimes when, the Cubs would play day games, mostly, and even when they didn't, they were done before the Dodgers were start, first pitch. And so I would just turn the Dodgers game on and just fall asleep to Vin's voice.
Yeah.
So between Vin, speaking of broadcasters who are characters, right? Bob Uecker just passed.
Yeah.
And,
my!
People forget what a great comedic actor he was. Mr. Belvedere was one of my favorite shows as a kid. Yeah. But Vin Scully.
Just a bit outside.
That's the thing about baseball. Like the announcers really are. They're with you all summer.
Yeah.
They're the voice. They're your soundscape of the summer. Yeah.
If you can still get an old AM radio station and you're driving across the state of Missouri, you could pick up a St. Louis game.
Yeah.
For 5 straight hours of your drive.
Yeah.
Keep you company.
Yeah. And when I couldn't get Cubs games when I lived in Vermilion, for some reason, 1570 in Yankton carried the game. So I got to listen to Pat and Ron, the original Pat and Ron,
Right.
Ron Santo. So just...
I was talking to somebody the other day. I was having a really bad diabetes day. And so then I brought up Ron Santo talking about one time, with his diabetes, and he was at a terrible low, and it's the bottom of the ninth, and he's due up. He says, but Skip, I'm seeing triple. He says, hit the one in the middle. Love that stuff. Oh, great. No doubt about it. And speaking of the Cubs, we will not have a show the week of May 5th, 6th, etc., because I will be at Wrigley Field on Monday night and Tuesday night.
Yeah.
My first time doing night games.
Who are they playing?
San Francisco.
Oh, fun.
Yep.
Yeah.
Should be good.
Yeah. And they should be decent this year.
Yes,
So.
they should. They've had a marvelous offseason.
Yeah.
Might even get better yet.
Yeah.
Crossing fingers. All right. Jesse Jensen, my friend, thank you so much. Appreciate it, and look forward to working you again besides this weekend.
All right. Thanks, Tom.
All right. Take care now. And we'll be back with more of the Dave Holly Hour in just a moment. Here's what's on the set list at Trio Jazz Club this weekend and into next week. Tonight, it's Tomahawk County at 6:30. Valentine's Day, the Joel Shotwell Group takes the stage for two shows, 6:30 and 9. The Sean Johnson Trio has two ticketed shows, Saturday night at 6:30 and 9 o'clock. Tuesday night, two ticketed shows as well, for a very good cause. The Lincoln High School Jazz Band, they're going to perform and raise funds for their program. And half of the sales go directly to Lincoln High School. Next Wednesday, it's the Jeff Paul Trio. And Thursday night, the 20th, 1 week from tonight, it's the Jesse Kristen Band. For more information, go online, triojazzclub.com.
Ladies, when it's time to give your nails some love, get that extra special treatment from Quality Nails on South Minnesota Avenue in Sioux Falls. Manicures and pedicures that look great and make you feel fantastic. Zaya and Tony don't simply provide the service, they provide professional care for your hands and feet. Whether you just want the basics or you're looking for an extra special look with an added flair. Oh, and guys, it's okay to treat yourself too. Quality Nails on Minnesota. Call for an appointment, 605-334-1463.
Hot? No. Cute? No. Ruggedly handsome? Yes. Once again, here's Dave Holly.
Welcome back, everyone. Yes, right off the bat, I do say it because I wrote it into my own contract, and I wrote the whole intro anyway. It's always a pleasure to talk Sioux Empire arts and entertainment, no matter what form that art takes. We do, visual arts. We talk about movies. We talk about plays. We talk about singers, songwriters, bands, all of that, executives, and everything along the line. But the funniest of them all, of course, would be the comics. And that's why and if you never thought love was funny, well, here we go, because these two have Valentine shows Friday night in Sioux Falls, Saturday night up in Brookings. Sara Manson and Adam Goodge, how are you two?
We're doing great.
Spectacular. So happy to be here, Dave.
Glad to have you here. I love spectacular. That's good. You got a better superlative, Adam? Can you
I'm
over that one?
doing flawlessly.
Flawless. Oh,
nice.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Brag if you wish. I mean, that's okay.
Yeah. The mustache is flawless for sure today.
Yeah, you can't
that
see it.
That
is.
is.
Oh, man. I'm jealous. I tried to do that,
Yeah.
and it just wouldn't work because one side kept growing like a full inch and a half beyond the other. And so to try and twirl them and get them, yeah.
I think that's what I'm going through now.
Okay.
It took me about 20 minutes to style it. but-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, hey, 20 minutes, that's not bad, though.
No.
You know what?
Yeah, it's
But you still have hair on top, too.
Yeah, I mean, not as much as in my 20s, but
I have very little. Just a little bit on the side, and that normally would be gone. But, I happen to be performing at the same time you guys are this weekend.
yeah.
And so I kept it for that play.
There is so much going on
Oh,
for
my
Valentine's
goodness
Day.
gracious,
The
yeah.
talent in this town, and everybody's got something good for Valentine's
It's
Day.
phenomenal, isn't it?
Yes.
It really is.
Yes.
All right, so let's start with you guys then.
Yes.
And over the past couple of years, you two have become Valentines.
That is so true. Yes, we are Sioux Falls' only comedy couple. I mean, we're
That's
both
true.
comedians,
Yeah.
and yep, we actually got a call from Sean Leary up in Brookings, and he said, "You two, you have to do a comedy Valentine's show together."
Mm-hmm.
He and his wife are both comedians as well. They're from LA, but he loves that about us, that we're
Right.
a comedy couple, and he loves to have us up at Wooden Legs. So he said, "I need you to do this Valentine's show," and I said, "Of course. Why didn't I think of that?" And we immediately started working on it.
Right, but did he want actual Valentine's Day first, or did you know?
No,
you were already booked?
he wanted to do the 15th.
15th,
Yep,
okay.
that's
So that worked out
the date
great
he had
then.
available. And I said, well, if we're going to put this show together, we need to do it twice.
Yeah, no doubt about that.
Especially starting. I mean, it's a whole new show where we really started. We took some inspiration from like Sonny and Cher variety style shows. Yeah, Adam had never seen that. So
Yep.
Well, he is a bit younger than
yeah.
probably a little bit younger than you
Dave,
too.
how dare you?
Yeah.
So we got on it right away and started watching it, and he was like, "This is incredible." Oh, he loved the costumes and all of it, the banter, the singing, and just everything. So we really took inspiration from that, and then added some art because that's his kind
Right.
of specialty. So we're starting out the show with some banter, and then he'll be doing his stand up and ending with art. Then we're gonna do, for the first time ever, I'll be doing art with him on stage.
Oh.
I know, together.
it'll be exciting. That's for sure.
With some audience participation, and then I'll be doing my stand up, and then we're going to do some singing for Adam for the first time. So,
Well,
Yeah, that's going to be a little terrifying, but we're going to
Oh,
get
no.
through it.
I seem to recall you having a few verses in you.
I've sang some things on stage for sure.
Yeah.
Okay. But I can't wait to see how the dueling artwork part comes out.
yes.
That'll be a gas. I just have a feeling. Well, no matter what, because you're both great comics. In fact, you recently placed third.
Second.
Second, that's right.
That's okay.
Dang.
It's okay, Dave.
Thank you.
Okay.
Because I rarely do, any homework for this show.
Yeah.
I always tell people, I love it when somebody says, well, can you tell me what you're going to ask? I said, hell, I don't know.
Right?
Not time to record yet.
Adam said the same thing. What is he going to ask us? What are we going to talk about? And I said, well, we're going to talk about comedy, and we're going to talk about whatever we want.
Exactly.
Right.
It's a conversation, people. Yes, Charlie, I know we got a foot fetish on me,
Charlie's
but
biting.
stop, okay?
Yeah, that was what I was going through the last 5 minutes.
He knows. Oh, no.
Oh, you've angered him
the
now.
sister, the diva bitch cat,
Oh, see, I
is
love the
in
cat.
his way. Oh, yeah, I love the cat too,
Yeah.
but she just, Charlie would love to play
Yeah.
with Lucy. And Lucy wants absolutely nothing to do with sibling play. Yeah, so we just let it go at that. What it is, it is. All right. But they provide plenty of comedy too.
Yeah.
I see that, yeah.
But let's get back to yours.
Yes.
All right. So you've set up what it's going to be like in terms of an outline.
Mm-hmm.
Now tell us about the Saturday or the Friday night show here in Sioux Falls.
Yes.
Give us the details in terms of what, when, where. He's a little late on that one.
Yeah. It's going to be at Lucky's Bar in the
Okay,
basement,
in the
Club
Club
224.
224.
Yep. Club 224 is down in the basement of Lucky's. And so it's nice because it's a private little club.
Yeah.
You're not dealing with, pool playing and TVs and all that. It's a perfect place for comedy. And I absolutely love performing down there. So we're going to be in the basement of Lucky's 224 at 8 p.m. and it's only $10 tickets in advance.
Fantastic.
I know. Heck of a deal, right?
Yeah.
I say this is for
Very
you poor
cheap.
comedians out there. This is your show.
Right.
And
For those that can only afford a cheap date.
Yeah, that's us. We're your cheap date. And $10 in advance. You can buy them online from Collective Efforts Union. You can get them from Eventbrite, or there will be tickets for sale at the door. And we do have physical tickets too that you can buy from us.
Oh, physical tickets.
Yes,
Cool.
I know.
I've been talking about this a little bit lately because, I love electronics. I love gadgets and all that, and technology. Just like, wow, I can't believe we can do this.
I know.
And I love the fact that, you can buy your tickets online and you can just show them there. But I missed the scrapbook part.
Oh, me too. I love to have a physical ticket you can hold in your hand and you can hang on the wall. And our tickets are so cool because they have pictures of us on it. I mean, how neat is that?
Yeah.
You can hang it on the wall.
You'd want to look at us every day.
Yeah,
so.
for sure. Yeah, you'll want to remember this night forever. We promise.
Yeah, because Alicia Rain was on last week and we talked about
yeah.
that. It's like, man, that's so cool.
Yeah, she had tickets too. They are neat, aren't they?
Yeah, they are.
Yeah,
and
I like
so I will look forward to yours as well, even though I can't go to the shows.
Yeah.
So tell me, you got that nice little spot down there, Club 224. That's
It's a great spot.
it was at one point, it was a comedy spot. in
Right.
town.
Yeah.
And it's just still got that allure to it, doesn't it?
Yes, it just feels like a comedy club when you walk in, you know?
Right.
Around here, so many of our venues we perform at are bars by day. They're
Right.
They're very, they multi-purpose kind of spaces. But that Lucky's Club 224, when you walk down here, you think this is a comedy club.
Yeah.
It feels like it, and there's this cool thing behind the stage that changes colors behind you that says Club 224 on it. And it's a comfortable room to perform into. It's got kind of the lower ceiling. It's cozy.
Yeah.
It's a good place for comedy.
Well, what I think about it is with the lights up on stage,
Yeah.
it reminds me, and I didn't smoke, but it reminds me of that old smoky feel.
Yes.
Right. Yeah.
Especially black and white pictures of people up on stage,
Yes.
smoke around the light.
I feel like it was called the Speakeasy for the longest time when they had that space available.
I don't remember it called that, but it's
Maybe that's what I called it.
Yeah, Adam just made that up,
I like
and he wondered why nobody ever showed up when he invited him.
in the Speakeasy.
Oh, just like one time I was promoting a show on TV,
Yeah.
and they put up the wrong phone number. Well, we didn't get any tickets out of that now,
Yeah.
did we? And those were printed too, but they were home printed. Back in the days of, let's see, what did they call that? Premier print or something. It was a...
Gosh, I don't know.
Yeah.
I just have, when I was young, I had this huge mural of, just the old Ticketmaster tickets,
Yeah.
but just to be able to look at that and see the
Right.
dates and remember, oh man, I did this on this day. It was something
Well-
really cool that now when they're on your phone, it's gone and you forget.
Yeah.
You don't remember when you did things. And
Well,
so-
and I can imagine with the regular job that you have,
Yes.
providing hospitality to a lot of worldwide entertainers,
Yes.
so forth, that you've got a pretty good collection of that.
I do. I mostly collect posters now that they don't
Okay.
do tickets anymore.
Right.
Most shows have a poster.
Mm-hmm.
And so I do keep one from every show that I do, and I get most of them autographed. So I just have stacks and stacks
there
of
you
them.
go.
And in my kitchen, I have this neat cupboard that's really got pretty old-timey glass with like a gold thing through it, but every backstage pass I get, I just stick them up on that glass. And so I've just got like hundreds of them stuck
Yep.
up there, and it's a really cool thing. So I do keep my mementos.
Awesome. You know what? It's always great to see you guys perform. It's always great to just see you guys, too.
I know.
And
It's so good to see you.
especially, oh my God, where'd I put it? There it is.
Oh, calm down, Dave. Calm down.
The whiskey's close by.
Jack Daniels, a small bottle. Just small enough to go with.
Yep.
I need one more swallow out of the Diet Coke. I
Yeah,
think,
we
and then
need
we
you-
probably have it.
Sober
And the
enough to finish
ratio
the
will be
show, though. So
That's
it's
barely
like they
enough.
know exactly how much to put in a bottle for Dave to get
Well,
through.
yes, and what I love about you guys is you know exactly what size of a bottle to bring to Dave, especially if his birthday party is at a spot that's only beer and wine.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're experts at smuggling
Yes.
booze into
That's
places.
so true.
Yes. So they'll be performing as the Bootleggers.
In the speakeasy. No, Club
Coining that
224 now. Club 224 now.
It's making a comeback.
Yeah. And so tell us about Saturday night, one at a time,
Sure.
et cetera, et cetera.
Sure. On Saturday night, we're going to be up at Wooden Legs Brewery in Brookings. It's a fantastic space for comedy. We love performing up there. And it's at 7 p.m. up there. Now, I imagine it probably starts at 7:30, but I'm guessing doors at 7. And we just talked to Sean, and he said there are still some tickets available for it, but I know that
Excellent.
one's probably getting close to sold out because it's not a huge room. You know, it's perfect for comedy, and it's very comfortable space up there. And in Sioux Falls, we're going to have Joey Steebrel opening for us.
Okay.
And he'll be hosting. And when we do our little art thing in the middle, he'll be doing a fun little game show style host character.
Cool.
I know. And then in Brookings, we have Kerner with us. And I think you know Kerner.
Yes, I do.
Amazing comic.
Yep.
Wins a lot of local awards. And Kerner's excited to also get to do a game show character. So we're gonna have the best time.
It'll be fun to get the audience kind of involved. Too,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know.
Right. And the other thing is, when it comes to you guys, you know, it's just such a variety
Yes.
of comedy
Yeah.
that both of you do.
Yeah.
And that the people that you choose to be on with you, et cetera, also bring something completely different.
It does.
Yeah. And, but the other thing is, how many sets do you each have now? Because if I'm not mistaken, when I look at Facebook, you're at like 8 different open mics each night. Is that correct?
So true. Well, we
Couple
run
a week.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you run some of them.
Yeah, I was going to say tonight actually. So on Tuesdays, every Tuesday we run open MicCon at Icon Lounge in the Annex.
Yeah.
That has just gotten to just be huge. It's it's the only comedy only mic in Sioux Falls. So last week we had 50 people there. It was incredible.
That's awesome.
We couldn't even fit them all in the room. There were people standing outside the Annex because it was so
room
full.
at that point.
Yeah, it was
SRO.
phenomenal. I think it's because I make cupcakes every week, Dave.
Yeah,
That's true.
They are
That
pretty
doesn't
good.
Hurt.
They are free, and I do make cupcakes every week. No, we hear from everybody. It's just the most welcoming, safe space for comics.
Yeah.
Again, it's also a place where we're not in a bar with other things going on. We have our own private room. So
Yeah,
people
you can
who
go
are
to the
there
bar and get whatever you want, come back, but it's
then
not
come in-
having to.
Yeah, compete with that.
Yeah.
And also, then people who are there for comedy. So they're there to laugh, they're there to be supportive. It's not like where comedy is interrupting something else going on. So, you know what I mean? They're there to laugh, they're there to support, and we're just a really, really welcoming environment. We've brought up a lot of comics that started at MicCon and are now, doing great things, like Jacob Womack, who, just won.
Wow.
Yeah. Isn't he incredible?
That was amazing. And,
Yeah.
and there's one person in this room I really feel bad for. That's you, Adam, because you were the last performer right before the break.
The break, yeah.
Yep.
And going into that break, I thought, he's the clubhouse leader.
Yeah.
He's definitely going to be in the top 3.
Yeah.
And then,
That's what I thought too.
yeah.
I did.
And then, everybody gets a little more alcohol in them throughout the evening.
yeah.
And they go, yeah. They clap a little louder
They
for the next
clapped a
person.
little louder, yeah.
Yeah, so
We're just happy that people showed up. It was such a
that
great
was
turnout.
Incredible crowd that night.
that wasn't it?
Yes, and you did an incredible job
Oh,
hosting,
thank
Dave.
you. Thank you. I
Absolutely.
had a lot of fun, and thank you to Alicia Rain that figured out there's no ratings for those steps for David to go up and down.
She was the champion that night.
It really helped out.
He's handicapped, and we must take care of this situation. So
We must protect Dave at all
Yes.
costs. And we did. You're still here.
Yes, because he'll be the one that announces the winners.
Yes.
Right, exactly.
Adam, tell us about your style of comedy.
Yeah.
We've had the lovely lady on several times, and Sarah's got so much to offer, and so many different things. And I've seen you a few times, and you make me laugh a lot.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, a lot of it can be. It varies a lot. I do observational comedy. I do like voices. I do hypothetical scenarios. But I guess one of the most common things I'm known for is that I bring my art onto stage.
Yeah.
So a lot of my jokes, you won't see it so much at open mics, but at like paid gigs, I'll have a set of 9 to 10 drawings that I'll show, and they're backed by jokes, and it's just a really unique form of comedy.
That it is, and a lot of people say, oh, the comedy these days, it's all the same. No, it's not.
No.
There are some things that trickle over from one to another, et cetera. But
Right.
most everybody's out there to show why they're different at this.
Right.
Exactly.
And, the thing is, and it's great that you have art in your comedy because comedy is art.
Yes.
Exactly.
That gets forgotten sometimes.
Right.
Everybody just thinks, oh, yeah, they're having fun. They're telling, no, they're not telling jokes. They're going through stories and bits that they constructed and they had to structure. And
Right.
it takes a little bit more, especially if you're one that really likes to nail that bit every time. You spend a lot more time in rehearsal than somebody ever does just telling a joke.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Very true.
So you're working hard on that.
It has to seem flawless, but it's really, there's so much work that goes behind it. to
Exactly.
Look
Right.
effortless.
Yeah. And so what's your style of rehearsal? Are you in front of the mirror?
Oh,
Do you have to read it all first, then go through the whole thing?
every set I do, I have to write down on cards beforehand.
Mhm.
That's a part of digesting it.
Yeah.
I write it all down, and Sarah does this too. And then it's just nice to have it in your pocket to know that if you get lost, you can pull it out. But the goal is never to look
Right.
at your notes.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
I used to, when I first started doing open mics, I'd rehearse for hours just to go up and do 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And now I do more of a fly by the seat of my pants kind of thing. And it's nice to improv and do some writing on stage.
Well, you've gotten comfortable in your art then.
Yeah.
And that's what's always nice is when somebody can get to the point of being so professional that it's just automatic. Now, there's a comedian from years ago, from when I grew up, that doesn't have a very good name anymore, but I did find something incredible about him the last time he was here in Sioux Falls, Bill Cosby.
Really?
Despite all of that, just take a look at the situation of this. I was supposed to meet him beforehand that time because I was with Michael Dinsmore, who is the owner of Bagel Boys.
Okay.
Michael was his stage manager for the Thursday night The Cosby Show in Brooklyn that they filmed. And he's got some cool tales to tell about people like Samuel L. Jackson. So poor he was sleeping on the floor there.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now he's on the Super Bowl.
Now he's Uncle Sam.
Uncle Sam. Classic, man. But anyway, he couldn't come out and meet us because he was still taking a nap.
Oh.
And they were instructed at the pavilion to wake him up 5 minutes before the show.
Oh my God.
So here's somebody that is so comfortable in doing his art, wakes up 5 minutes beforehand, goes out on stage, no opening act, just sits down, has a bottle of water next to him, takes a microphone, and starts telling stories.
Wow.
That's
Incredible, man.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm, well, of course, part of me is I'm somebody that puts things off for a little while.
Yeah. Procrastinator.
So it's the day of that maybe I'll write what I'm going to do. That's what I did with the, comedy competition.
Nice.
But then, even that, though, I'm comfortable enough in emceeing something that when I see something come along that I can work with,
Yeah.
then boom, I know I'm going to go with it. Just like when you wore that incredibly snazzy dress.
Oh.
And, because I had a suit on.
Yes.
Because I knew that would make me a notch above, well, all the others except you in looks for that. Because that was the old classic MC rule that dress one step above everybody else. And so I had made a joke about it that when I told my wife, because she asked what I was going to wear. And so her joke was, oh, you're actually going to wear a shirt with buttons. And then, so I did that, but then I rolled right into, but I couldn't outdress this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's impossible.
Yeah, it is. I'm pretty sure about that now. And look at that, even today.
Right.
Oh,
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
We have an open mic after this. And with the attendance last week, we thought we would, snazz it up a little bit this week. But also, spoiler alert, what we're doing tonight is we have not practiced yet our drawing in front of an audience. So we need to get an idea of what time-wise that is. So Adam and I are both wearing Van Gogh themed sweaters right now because we thought it would be the most appropriate for art tonight. We like to compliment each other's wardrobes, which is nice.
Yeah, we do dress very similarly sometimes.
What's funny when you asked about our rehearsing, we have been now for weeks mall walking at the mall every morning and rehearsing our bits. And I tell you, those people at the mall think we are lunatics because
they look at us weird.
The two of us are mall walking while singing songs, just duets together.
But knowing the two of you, I'm saying you're sitting there going, yeah, isn't this great? They think we're lunatics.
Yeah.
We enjoy it together.
Embrace it.
We do.
All right, man, it's going to be great. Like I said, I'm wishing. Well, no, I'm not wishing I didn't perform. This weekend.
Yeah.
But
we just wish they were on different nights.
Yeah, be nice to clone oneself sometimes.
Right.
Yes.
So you can go from here to there.
I know.
And still enjoy it all.
When you get into performing in theater and, all the things we do, it's impossible to go to everybody's shows all the time.
True.
And you sure wish you could,
Yeah.
I wish I could see every one of my friends' shows all the time. And you just have to do the best you can to support.
Exactly. Yep. And support any way you can. So support the arts, people.
Right.
Yes.
And don't forget what all the arts are.
Yeah.
There's so much to take in. And we are very, very fortunate how this community has grown.
Yes.
Over the past 20 years or so. And it's just amazing to see what's come along, the new places that you can go and use as a venue.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the art that gets hung in local shops now.
I know.
And, of local artists.
Yes.
And the number of galleries we have continues. And
Yes.
yeah. It's fantastic. So
It is incredible the amount of, people and places we have to perform, and the incredible performers we have here in Sioux Falls are just, we travel all over and we've got some of the best here.
Yeah.
It's not like you go to California and they're blowing your minds. You're going, there are people in Sioux Falls that's good.
Exactly. Yeah.
For sure. And that's incredible that we are very fortunate to have, the local opportunities we have and the support we have. And, that's the most important thing for all you listeners is just, show up, because you know what? You're going to be amazed at the talent we have in this town.
Yeah.
Right.
All right, Adam, it's your first time here.
It is.
Yes.
Yeah. So that means you get the original questions at the end of the show.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. There are two. How you answer the first one might determine whether we have to ask the second one. But the first one is, when you're not involved in the arts and entertainment world, what do you like to be entertained by?
Oh, well, I love watching movies. That's entertaining to me. But what I really love is nature. I spend a lot of time out hiking. I'll bird watch. I love just enjoying the natural landscape of the surrounding areas. And I love to camp. Nothing's more entertaining to me than sitting by a fire and just watching that crackle and roar into the night.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, I'm very outdoorsy when I'm not being indoorsy.
Well, that would be part of an answer for the second question, but I'll still throw it out there. Any other hobbies?
Yeah, well, and I love to hike and camp. I spend most of the summer doing that, but I also bicycle quite a bit, or cycle, as they would say. I used to work at a bike shop, actually, so that's how I got into fixing bikes and tooling around on them. And then I ended up getting like 4 bikes, and I decided I needed to stop working there.
Yes, because by God, I can go out and make $1 million doing local comedy.
Yeah. Thank goodness I never worked at a shoe store.
Yeah. The house is not big enough.
The house is not big enough.
Or at a place you could buy rhinestones in bulk.
That's so true.
Yeah.
I know.
All right. You've been here more than a few times now.
I have.
Which is why you came right in the door.
I did. I didn't bother to knock.
No.
I just walked right
That's
in.
what I tell people. It's like, if you've been here 3 times or more,
Yeah.
you don't need to knock.
No, you just know.
Just come in. You know where it is. And it's right here. It's only 660 square foot to begin with. You'll find me. So I'm going to throw a different question your way.
Okay, I'm ready.
Righty. So tell me, what is your word? What is your mantra that keeps you going?
Ooh.
Wow, yeah, that's a good one. My mantra that keeps me going. I want to be ironic and say I'm good enough, I'm smart enough, and gosh darn it, people like me. That's like the first thing that pops into my head. But I think I just wake up every day and I think today's going to be a magnificent day, and I'm going to make it that. And I think there's only one today. Let's make the best of it.
Right.
So I just think to myself, how are we going to make today the best day ever?
Love it.
Yeah. I'd say if I had to pick a word, magnificent.
I was going to say sparkle, but that
Sparkle?
also.
I love that too.
Oh.
See, I love to hear what other people's words are for me, because he says sparkle. I'm sitting here looking at my new backpack I got for Christmas.
Yes,
and it is a Maleficent the Magnificent backpack, because Maleficent is my spirit villain. She's not a villain though, but yeah, and it is sequined and rhinestoned, and that is me. So right, sparkle is also a good word for me.
Okay. Mine is compliment.
Compliment?
Oh,
I love complimenting people.
Oh,
It is
very good at
what I thrive on, because
yes.
You never know what somebody's going through.
So true.
And we get so held back about approaching somebody.
Mm-hmm.
And I will stop people and say, hey, don't think ill of this. This is a compliment.
Mm-hmm.
That, well, for Adam, that hat is awesome.
Yeah.
Something along that
you.
line.
Right.
For you, man, did you make that necklace on your own? So forth.
Yeah, no, it's vintage. Someone made it in 1950. Nobody's been able to make one this good since, right?
Exactly. Yeah. And because if somebody feels good for 5 seconds out of the day, even.
Yes.
If they can remember that later on.
Yes.
Mission accomplished.
Okay, that inspired me to come up with a better word for me. And if I had to pick one word, I would say that word is gratitude. And that's being
awesome.
Thankful for every gift I have in my life, and all the things that, that I can give to others too, like compliments, having gratitude for the things you have in your life will bring you more.
All right.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks you too. So
Thanks,
great
Dave.
to have you on.
Thank you.
And break legs this weekend.
You
Absolutely.
too.
Oh, yeah.
You too.
Will do.
Whatever you choose to do this Valentine's Day, you have got some of the best performers in the world out there to go
That's
see.
for sure.
So.
Yeah, it's going to be a great weekend.
Yes.
All right. Thanks again, Sara Manson, Adam Goodge, and we'll be back to wrap up the Dave Holly Hour in just a moment.
Are you an artist? Need some funding to further your art? There's a great opportunity for you through a Sioux Falls Arts Council program. The Artist Microgrant program gives away several microgrants to local artists, no matter what art discipline you're in. Unlike more traditional grants, a microgrant is very easy to apply for. Go to artssiouxfalls.org. If you haven't done so yet, create a listing on the Artist Directory, which is beneficial in its own way. Then go to the Artist Microgrants page and apply online. The process is simple. Find out more about the Sioux Falls Arts Council as well online at artssiouxfalls.org.
Dr. Perry Langston and Dr. Corey Tooney know excellence is in you. That's why they provide you with excellent care at XO Chiropractic, improving your overall health in spirit, body, mind, and will. Get results the natural way. Arrange a consultation, 605-332-9235 or xochiros.com. Excellent care for excellent people. XO Chiropractic, located at 4309 South Racket Drive in Sioux Falls.
Once again, Dave Holly.
Thanks again to my great guests, Jesse Jensen and Sara Manson and Adam Goodge. Most of all, thank you for the downloads, the follows, and the sharing on social media. All 265 episodes are available online at davehollyhour.com. Don't forget to use the search function. You can take a look for a guest, see if they've been on before. You can also find different topics that we've had. You'll also find links to Arts South Dakota and the Sioux Falls Arts Council. Until next week, I'll see you at the arts. As the Sioux Falls Arts Council says, together we art. As Arts South Dakota says, home is where the art is. As I say, put some art in your heart. Remember, I'm Dave Holly, and for me, every day is a holiday.
The Dave Holly Hour has been brought to you by Trio Jazz Club, Sioux Falls' premier jazz club. Serendipity Studio Gallery and Gifts, Chasers Food and Spirits, Excel Chiropractic, Quality Nails, and the Sioux Falls Arts Council. Stay up to date on the show by following on Instagram and Facebook. All episodes available anytime at DaveHollyHour.com. The Dave Holly Hour is produced in the Dipsy Doodle Studios by Big D Entertainment.
Thanks for listening.